All In Sports Network. We love sports.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to All In Mizzou. Happy Monday. Thanks for coming here and getting your week started off on the right note with Rogue Media, All In Mizzou. We've got things to say today. I've got some things to say. We'll start with SEC as we always do, but I've been bottling up a lot of what I want to say about Missouri and its loss to Alabama for this show. So stick around for that. It'll be good. This is the first show we're doing after a Missouri loss, and as a journalist with integrity, I'm not going to let it affect the show at all. You won't even know that Missouri has lost. It's going to be a good show. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's start. Just a huge bomb in the college football world drops yesterday. And I guess it's not all that surprising when you look at what's been going on. But Penn State, who started the year, I believe, AP number 2, Penn State fired head coach James Franklin yesterday afternoon after a 3-3 start to the season. And you also now have Drew Aller out for the season, their quarterback, injured in the loss to Northwestern, out for the year. I mean, that's a mess right now. All of a sudden, there is a huge job open. Before this, the biggest job that was open was probably Arkansas or Virginia Tech or, I don't know, UCLA maybe. I don't know. But this is now the biggest job on the market. And it's going to be interesting to see. It only takes one big job to shake up the coaching landscape. So I'm interested to see what will happen here, who they're going to go after. Excuse me. My first thought was Curt Cignetti from Indiana, who's having a hell of a 2 years now with the Hoosiers. But I don't know. Do you really leave that situation for a conference opponent when you might win the conference at Indiana? I mean, I don't know. I think he's getting some money support at Indiana. I'm not sure that it's that big of a jump right now, honestly, from Indiana to Penn State, just because Indiana is better. Indiana is a better football team. Cignetti's a better coach than Franklin. I mean, Cignetti already has better wins than Penn State did. Cignetti in 2 years has better wins than Penn State did, and however long James Franklin was there. So I don't know. I think that's obviously the first call that they make. After that, I'm not sure what they do. I mean, it'll be pretty interesting to see. I saw some stuff about Matt Rule in Nebraska. I do think that's a clear jump up, because Nebraska hasn't done, still, even with Matt Rule, they haven't done anything. So interesting to see here, and then, if Matt Rule goes, who does Nebraska go get? Then it's a chain reaction. Man, what a absolute meltdown by Penn State. They start 3-0. They almost beat Oregon. They lose in overtime, and then it's a meltdown. They lose to UCLA, who just fired their coach and had a first-time play caller calling plays. And UCLA scored 42 points. Northwestern, Northwestern now 4-2. Northwestern beat UCLA, and now they beat Penn State. So there you go. That's all I'm going to really say, but I think that it'll be interesting to follow where the coaching thing ends up, So we'll see. All right, let's get into the SEC. We'll start with how we always start. We'll start with the AP poll update. Man, Missouri only moves back 2 spots. I was thinking they'd be more 21 to 25 range. That was my guess. And I think I'm more maybe pessimistic about how the game went, and I'll explain why. But they only fall 2 spots, which means to me that the loss looked better to everyone else, to the voters, than it did to me. And that's good. People still believe that Missouri is very good. That's great. Just to be clear, I still think Missouri's good. I just don't think Missouri played very well. But to only fall 2 spots, I think that means that, here you go. Here's the last. This is the 6-game stretch that was always going to be tough here to end the year. You go on the road 4 times the next 6 weeks. This is a prove it 2 months for Missouri. And if they can prove it, this Alabama loss won't mean anything, and they'll have a chance to go to the playoffs. But that is looking very ahead in the future. The SEC had 10 teams in the AP poll. Texas A&M comes in at number 4. A&M with a nice win over Florida. Ole Miss at 5, man. Ole Miss, man. By the skin of their teeth, they get a win against Washington State. Alabama at 6. Georgia at 9. LSU at 10. Tennessee at 11. Oklahoma at 14. Missouri at 16. Vanderbilt at 17. And Texas, welcome back to the AP poll. Texas Longhorns. They come in at 21. Let's get into what happened this week in the SEC. Like I said, golly, sorry. Washington State goes to Ole Miss and actually has a lead. They take a lead in the first quarter, and it looks like something may be happening here, but Ole Miss squeaks it out. A 3-point win at home against Washington State, 24-21. Kejuan Lacey, Missouri former running back, goes for 142 yards on the ground. Trinidad Chambliss throws 253 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. So, close bad losses don't equal bad losses. Ole Miss did its job. And now this week they got a trip to Athens, Georgia, which I am very excited about this one. This will be a big one. Okay, speaking of Georgia, Georgia gets a good win over Auburn. Auburn was up 10-0 at one point, I believe. Georgia comes back to win it. It was 10-3 at halftime. Auburn was winning. Georgia ends up winning 20-10 on the road against Auburn. Auburn now, good God. Auburn, 3 straight losses by 10 points or less. They lost to Oklahoma by 7, lost to Texas A&M by 6, lost to Georgia by 20. Of course, Missouri goes to Auburn next week, and I will officially declare it now. I'm worried about that game. I know Auburn is 3-3, 0-3 in the SEC, but you can't keep either Missouri blows them out or Auburn wins, because you can't keep losing these stupid games like Auburn is. And I don't necessarily think Auburn's that good, but they are hanging around with good teams. If a couple things go differently, they're 3-0 in the SEC. So you never know. Texas beats Oklahoma again at the Cotton Bowl. John Mateer comes back. Seems like maybe he comes back early. I don't know. He didn't look that great. 202 passing yards, 3 interceptions. The offense for Oklahoma looked bad. They only scored 6 points. Texas, however, Arch Manning, 166 passing yards and a touchdown. Trey Wisner looks pretty good. 94 yards on 22 carries. Not necessarily super impressed with that offense, though. There was a punt return in there. So really this game, Texas scored 17 points on offense, and the defense got a bunch of turnovers for them. So Colin Simmons, 2.5 sacks for Texas. A nice win for the Longhorns, though. They really, really needed it. They're back in the AP poll. They're 4-2, 1-1 in the SEC. It's not the end of the world for Texas yet. If they can get their quarterback going, I think they can get going. Florida. Florida loses to Texas A&M 34-17. It was closer than that for a while. Texas A&M scored 10 unanswered in the fourth quarter to pull away. But, hey, Florida, I know their record's terrible, but they don't, they got a win over Texas last week, which looks like a pretty good win. I'm not going to say they hang around with A&M because it was a 17-point loss, but they at least look like a football team. They look like an offense that knows how to play offense, and that's fine. Good for them. Alabama, Missouri. We'll talk about that later. Georgia, Auburn, already talked about it. South Carolina at LSU. LSU wins 20-10. Neither of these teams look good, but LSU's defense is just better than any of the other units on the field. Better than LSU offense, better than both South Carolina defense and offense. So that's good. Nussmeier, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Yeah. We'll see about him. Lenore Sellers, 124 passing yards and interception. Man, this South Carolina win that Missouri has doesn't look good anymore. South Carolina is not good. I'm not sure what happened from last year. That was a good South Carolina team last year. I guess they lost some pieces on defense, but Missouri's best win probably Kansas now, I would think, because it's not South Carolina. And Kansas just got smoked by Texas Tech. So does Missouri have a good win? I don't know. Okay, last one. Arkansas at Tennessee. Arkansas loses by 3. The Bobby Petrino, Bobby P era gets going with a close loss. And we know how much Arkansas fans love close losses. Taylon Green, a nice game for him. The defense actually looked serviceable. They made Tennessee punt a couple times. Tennessee's offense really wasn't that great. I mean, they had Deshaun Bishop, their running back, run for almost 150 yards, but Joey Aguilar didn't look like he's looked in the past. And Tennessee now, they got to go to Alabama next week. And I think there's not a better team in the conference than Alabama. So, I don't know. Hey, Arkansas. Didn't look bad. Got to say it. Didn't look bad. Arkansas now, of course, they're still 0-2 in the conference and 2-4 overall. And boy, it doesn't get any easier. They go ahead and host A&M next weekend. And then they host Auburn, host Mississippi State. So they're home 3 games in a row. Actually, for 3 games that, I don't know. Could Arkansas win 1 or 2 of these games? Yeah, they could. They definitely could. But none of them are easy games. Then they go on the road to LSU, Texas, and then they host Missouri the last week of the regular season, which, by the way, not a free win for Missouri at all. Taylon Green might throw for 555 yards and 11 touchdown passes against this Missouri secondary. I don't know. That's all I have for the SEC recap. Let's get into the SEC standings. Good Lord. Sorry. And then I'll talk about what we got next week in the SEC. And then whenever I do my preview show, it's Thursday or Friday, I'll make some picks for these games. But right now, let's do the power rankings. The bottom two remain unchanged. Kentucky, I think Kentucky was on a bye. I'm pretty sure they're no good. They host Texas this week. They're 16. Don't have anything else to say. 15, I have Arkansas. And I was pretty close to moving Arkansas up, but Arkansas is still not good. But if Arkansas and South Carolina, who, spoiler, I have South Carolina 14 in my power rankings. If those two teams played right now, first of all, it would be an awesome quarterback matchup and a terrible rest of the teams matchup. I'm not sure Arkansas wouldn't beat South Carolina right now. But I can't move Arkansas up yet for losing a game. I just can't. I'm sorry. It was a step in the right direction for Arkansas, but they're still 15 for now. South Carolina at 14. Good grief. What is happening? What is happening over there with Beamer Ball? What's going on with Beamer Ball, everybody? They lose at LSU, and then this week they play – oh, fun. They play Oklahoma. Florida at 13. Florida lost to A&M. They host Mississippi State. That's not an easy game. That's a 9.5-point spread right now. I'm not so sure about that. Mississippi State can definitely hang around with this team, but Florida showing signs of life on offense. We know the defense is pretty good. So there you go. Auburn 12. Gosh, I just feel bad for Auburn fans because it's 3 weeks in a row where you feel like you should be winning all of these games pretty much. Could be 6-0 and the number one team in the country if you beat Oklahoma on the road, you beat A&M on the road, and you beat Georgia at home, which they're not that far off from doing. Think about it. Auburn is number one in the country if they just do all that. But they didn't. And now they, excuse me, they host Missouri next week. A battle of the Tigers. And yeah, Auburn's not bad, and Missouri didn't play great. That's going to be an interesting game. And actually, look at this. I think I saw that the spread on this game opened yesterday at 3.5 points. Can you guess who's favored? It's not the 16 team in the country. It's not the team that is not 0-3 in the SEC. Auburn was favored by 3.5. Now I think it's come down to 1.5. But that is reflective of how I feel about this game. I'm nervous about this game as a Missouri fan. We'll see. Okay, Mississippi State goes to Florida. They were on a bye. I think that's not a bad team, man. They are still kind of searching for that signature SEC win. They got a good win against Arizona State. But now they're kind of chasing a big win, and they're going to have some opportunities to do that the rest of the season. They have Florida on the road next week. Then they have Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Missouri, Ole Miss. A tough way to close out the season, but lots of opportunity to prove it. Oklahoma, number 10. Mateer looked bad. You have to assume he wasn't healthy because he looked really good before he was hurt. This is the first time he's looked bad at Oklahoma. Maybe that's a testament to Texas's defense. I don't know. But he got sacked a couple times, threw 3 picks. Yeah, scored 6 points in the Cotton Bowl. There was a stat. Let me hold on. I'm looking at a Cotton Bowl stat I saw. Come on, just show me the results. Here we go. So this year, obviously 23-6. Last year, 34-3. Oklahoma, in 3 of the last 4 Cotton Bowls, have not scored a touchdown on Texas. Obviously, the one in the middle in 2023, Oklahoma beat Texas 34-30, a good game there. But other than that, Oklahoma struggling in this series. Gosh, right above Oklahoma is LSU. LSU at number 9. Still don't really love what I'm seeing from them. They've got a good defense, but that offense just cannot get it going. Nussmeier, another guy that I assume must be a little bit hurt because he just doesn't look that good. But they keep winning, so I can't say too much about it. They keep winning these games. They barely lost to Ole Miss. I mean, come on, they're 5-1. If they just look better, this is a whole different story. They're still 10. I think they're 10 in the AP poll. Is that what I said? Yeah, they're 10 in the AP poll. They got Vanderbilt next week in Nashville, and I'd be worried about that game if I was a LSU fan. Vanderbilt. I'm excited to watch them play again. Above LSU at number 8, I have Texas. Maybe this is a bit of an overreaction moving them up because last week they were – do I have my last week rankings? No. But last week they were low on the list. They get a win here, though. I mean, it is just a good win. Whether you think Oklahoma is good or not, that's number 6 Oklahoma they just beat in a rivalry game. Their defense looked awesome. Colin Simmons is awesome. Trey Wisner looked good. I mean, you're just waiting on your 5-star quarterback to get comfortable, and then I think this team can go. Will he get comfortable? I don't know. Good question. Gosh, I'm on ESPN. Sorry, I hate to do this, but I'm on ESPN right now, and I saw an NBA opening week advertisement for Spurs at Mavericks, and I'm well, it's very complicated what I am now. I was a big Mavs fan, and I saw it was Wemby on the Spurs thing and a big white guy on the Mavs thing, and I didn't even look twice at it. Just Wemby Luka going at it again, but nope, it's the new guy Cooper Flag, and gosh, I hate to digress into this, but it's very complicated how I feel about the Mavericks organization. I love all the players, so I don't know, but I just thought it was kind of a crazy thing there. All right, number 7, Vanderbilt. A big game next week against LSU. They were on a bye this week. Yeah, that's all I have to say. They're good. Number 6, the Missouri Tigers, who I'm going to talk about here in a second. 3-point loss at home to Alabama. Gosh. Golly. All right. I'll talk about them in a little bit. Tennessee at number 5. Tennessee squeaks out a win against number 15, Arkansas. Tennessee goes to Alabama. Oh, boy. That'll be a big game. But Tennessee now has, kind of the last 2 games it's played are 1-score games, Mississippi State, Arkansas. 2 teams you probably think Tennessee should be beating by a little bit more than a combined 10 points, but what do I know? All right, number 4, I have Georgia. Georgia didn't look that good, but they are good, and that's why they came back from 10-3 deficit at halftime, scored 17 unanswered to beat Auburn 20-10. Georgia hosting Ole Miss, another big game. Good grief, there are some really, really good games in the SEC this week. Let me run through them here. Number 10, LSU at 17, Vanderbilt. Number 14, Oklahoma at South Carolina. Number 4, A&M at Arkansas. Number 5, Ole Miss at number 9, Georgia. Mississippi State at Florida. Texas at Kentucky. Tennessee at Alabama. Missouri at Auburn. That's a really good slate. Okay, number 3, Ole Miss. Gosh. Boy, oh boy, they drop a spot in my rankings. I know I had them 2 last week. They drop a spot because they almost lost a really bad game. But almost losses don't show up on the record book, just like almost wins don't show up on the record book. Missouri fans. That's right. Almost wins don't mean anything. Number 2, Texas A&M. 17-point win against a Florida team that's better. That's a great team, Texas A&M, man. They have Arkansas, and that's a rivalry game. That could be interesting. That could be something. And number one, Alabama. I think Alabama is very good. To me, that Florida State game looking a bit fluky now. Florida State, I think, is 3-3. Is Norvell in the hot seat? Maybe. I don't know. 3-3 Florida State now. I think that's a fluke of a game. They ironed out a lot of stuff, and they didn't necessarily look amazing against Missouri, but neither team did, and the better team won. So there you go. Those are my Week 7 SEC power rankings. There we go. Usually I go through stats and all sorts of nonsense here, but really what I want to do now is just talk about Missouri because I haven't yet, and I'm ready to do it. Here's the deal. All right, so Missouri loses 27-24. Here's the deal. I don't want to be too negative here because it's a close game. SEC play. There are going to be tough games. There's going to be games where you don't look good. I've had a lot of people in my life come up to me and say, "Oh, good job. Good job." First of all, I don't play for Missouri. But they're being nice and they're saying, "Great job, Missouri almost did it." And that's true. Missouri almost did it. Missouri had a chance to tie the game. Somehow, after being down 10 and after me totally giving up, they drive down the field. Bo Perbula throws a touchdown pass to Donovan Olubade. They kick an onside kick. My goodness. I hate it. I hate it. I'll talk about that. But then they get the ball back and they're driving. And Bo throws a pick. But you're probably 20 yards away from being able to give your kicker a chance to tie the game and go into overtime against Alabama. My point is this. Not 2 years ago. Okay, let's say 4 or 5 years ago. Kind of in the beginning of the Drinkwitz era, 21, 22, those years. Sure. 3 or 4 years ago, this is a good result for Missouri. Missouri's not a great program. It's a young head coach coming up, trying to rebuild an SEC program that hasn't been good in a couple of years. Oh, man, they almost beat Alabama. Good for Missouri. They almost beat Alabama. 3 or 4 years ago, perfect. I'd probably be pretty happy. I'd be mad that they didn't win, but I'd say, okay, we're making progress here. But now in the big 2025, if you're a Missouri fan that feels like Missouri is one of the better programs in the SEC, you can't have it both ways. You can't say we're a great program and we almost beat Alabama. Good for us. Great programs have to start winning these games at some point. You think of the Georgia games 2 and 3 years ago. Now, those are more like you're still on the come up, but those were games where you're like, wow, Missouri almost beat Georgia. Look out for this Missouri team. Last year, you don't show up against Texas A&M or Alabama. At some point, you have to start winning these games against other big programs. And like I said, now, who's your best win this year? South Carolina? That's not a good win. Kansas? That's not a very good win. I mean, Kansas probably is your best win. They just got blown out by a very good Texas Tech team. But last year, okay, this team wins 10 games. Who's your best win? Boston College, Vanderbilt? I guess it's probably Oklahoma. That was a really fun win with Drew Pine in there. I just think it's time for you to start getting these big wins. And they were close, and that's great, but that doesn't mean anything to me anymore. And it shouldn't mean much to Missouri fans. Now, if you're a Missouri fan who watched the game and said, I thought we played really well, and we still lost, that's a different thing. I've seen some people say that. Wow, Missouri I'm proud of Missouri. They played well. That's fine if you think that. I don't think Missouri played well at all. And maybe the fact that here's the thing, against Georgia years ago, Missouri played very well and almost won. And that was like, okay, Missouri's playing well and almost won. In this game, I feel differently, and maybe this is a positive thing, but I think Missouri played relatively poorly, easily the worst game of the year, and they almost won. That's different. You play bad and you almost win. So maybe that's a positive to take away from this game. But I'm tired of getting I don't know. I don't care about losing close games anymore. I don't think Missouri as a program should do that. And you heard Drinkwitz talk about that. We didn't come here to almost win. We came here to win. That's what I like. I like that. And that's great to say that. But now you've got a really tough slate where next week against Auburn, all of a sudden, that's a very, very good game. That if they win that game, I don't care that Auburn's 0-3. That's a good win. So you're going to have opportunities to show that you've improved as a program. Missouri was bad last year on the road. They get to go to Auburn, a tough place to play. If they win that game, I mean, it's not the end of the world. That's why I'm not trying to be negative, because if your one loss is Alabama, fine, that's a good loss. But if this is the start of a trend where Missouri, really doesn't end up being that great, I mean, that's where things get frustrating. The game itself, I think, the first drive of the game, I thought Missouri might never stop scoring. It was the perfect drive. They ran the ball, I think, 5 times in a row. And then it was a play action touchdown pass to Brett Norfleet down the sideline. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch. You're up 7-0. Alabama gets the ball. No gain on a run. Lots of 5 yards on a pass. And there's a taunting. And I think that, I hate to single out one play, but the taunting on Zion Young is a total backbreaker. Instead of 3rd and 13, it's 1st and 10 way down the field. That hurt. If it's 3rd and 13, though, there's no guarantee that Missouri's secondary can get it off the field. But it's at least like your 3rd and 13. You have every bit of momentum. You get one stop, get the ball back, and then you control the game. But the taunting happens. Alabama, moves down the field, scores a touchdown. Let's talk about the defense first. I think that this defensive line is awesome. And if Missouri is going to start winning some of these big games, which I believe they will and they can, it is going to be because of how good this defensive line is. Damon Wilson, 2 sacks. Zion Young was great, forced a fumble. I think that was him that forced a fumble. Or was it Trotter? I don't know. The defensive line, the first play of the second half, force a fumble, and then offense scores a touchdown. It's a new ball game. I mean, the defensive line was the best part of this game for Missouri by far. Struggled a little bit in the run game, more than I thought they would struggle in the run game. J.M. Miller, Alabama running back, runs 20 times for 85 yards. They were getting yards. I thought the run game for Missouri's defense would be better, but I still think that defensive line unit is good. The secondary, though, I feel like I'm living like a Twilight Zone episode or something, because on Saturday I have to watch my team, lose a game because of its secondary. And on Sunday I have to watch my other team, the Cowboys, lose a game because their secondary is so bad. At least for Missouri, some parts of their defense are good. The Cowboys' whole defense is terrible, and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. It's just so bad. So, I mean, Missouri has, for the sake of me and my sanity, Missouri has to improve. There's a few things, though, as a football fan, I think, as frustrating as watching your secondary stink. Because remember the 3rd and 24 here in this game. Of course, Alabama picks it up in 2 plays. I mean, you don't even have one guy back there who's making plays. You don't have one single guy. And it hurts, of course, that Marvin Burks is ejected for a targeting call that I'm not so sure about. But none of those guys are making any good plays. Toriano Pride is getting beat every play. Stephen Hall had an interception that he could have picked off, didn't make the play, of course. I mean, at some point, you guys have to start making plays. And so that was really just so deflating to watch how the secondary played. I mean, that was the game. If you get something out of your secondary on 3rd and 24, or you get off the field, it changes the game. If Stephen Hall intercepts that pass, it changes the game. It just does. So, just frustrating. I don't know. Offensively, most of the game was pretty frustrating for the offense outside of the first drive. I thought they did not really do much with the run game, which I was surprised about. Hardy only had 12 carries, and like 3 of them were on the first drive of the game. I don't know. I know you got down, so it was harder to just pound the run, but he's the best player you have. And Alabama's run defense isn't great, and you have to assume at some point they're going to fall. They're going to get tired. They're going to fall apart, and Hardy's going to break one. Bo Prabula ran it 11 times for 61 yards. Again, this was mostly on the first drive. They gave Bo some design runs. He ran it himself. I think he looked good. But him as a passer, I think this is the first look. I mean, you've kind of been seeing it the past couple of weeks with the turnovers. But he throws 2 picks today, or not today yet, Saturday. 2 picks on Saturday, should have been a third, almost fumbled. Just, I think they need to start utilizing him more as a runner. They had that bootleg play where they get kind of multiple guys going to the right. Usually he dumps it off to Norfleet. He tried to force it down the field, and it was a pick. Or maybe that was the almost pick. Like, I don't know. We got to get back to the basics here. He missed Marquise Johnson a couple times. That was a touchdown if he had thrown it inbounds down the sideline there early in the game. That is a touchdown. In the fourth quarter, when they're trying to go get a field goal to tie the game, Marquise Johnson is wide open when he throws the pick to, I think he was targeting Olubade or Kevin Coleman. Kevin Coleman, 1 catch. I know he's banged up a little bit. I don't know. Nothing really on the offense excited me, though, outside of maybe Olubade, who kind of brought Missouri back into the game. Brett Norfleet looked good. Jamal Roberts had some nice runs. I don't know. I wasn't super excited about the play calling. I wasn't super excited about. No one seemed to be open. I don't know. I'll have to go. That's what tomorrow's for. I'll go rewatch the game and give you my more detailed thoughts. But, I don't know. I'm going to stop talking. We're moving on to minute 40 here, and I got to go do another show. But it is what it is now, right? It's one lost team. The rest of the season it's up to you now. How can you respond to this unfortunate loss. I think that'll show us a lot about how this team's going to be. Auburn next week. Mizzou underdog, something to prove is what they say. But tomorrow I'm going to rewatch all the stuff on offense and give you a better explanation of what happened and what didn't work and what worked. But yeah, I guess my main point is just it's time to start winning these games, and I hope Missouri can win some of these games this year. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow. Happy Monday, everybody. Enjoy your Monday. Get your week going on the right note, man. Do something you want to do. Listen to a good album or watch a good TV show or watch some football tonight. Just, do something to get you going on the right track, man. That's what I say. Thanks for listening. I really, truly do appreciate everybody who listens. Oh, yeah, I was going to do this. Hold on. My granddad, Bubba, he's watching. But he, there were times Hardy looked, he kind of was stopped in the backfield. And then I think actually Hardy sorry, I'm getting back into this now. Just because I have a funny thing, but Hardy looked good at time. Like he was still having good runs. But there's one run where he's bouncing around and going back and forth. And my granddad Bubba said he reminded him of the Frogger video game, which I thought was pretty good comparison for Hardy, who just kind of bounces off tackles and weaves and everything. So that's what I have. Shout out Bubba. Thanks for listening. Come back tomorrow. MIZ.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.